Good afternoon and welcome back to Today with Matt and Dave. This is show number 10. As I said before we went to commercial break, we can't believe it's winding down
It's already
already.
double digits. Nuts.
But now we're going to go over to Dave with campus sports and national sports. So, Dave, over to you.
Well, we're going to start off with last week, doing a little rewind with our school sports. We didn't do too bad. Did well in some sports, others not too much. But start with volleyball. They lost 3-1 against Marist on October 31st, but then won 3-1 versus Siena last Sunday, so they split that weekend series. Good for them. Swimming and diving, women's lost 162 to 100 versus Bryant. I don't really know how the point system works, but I guess that you can score 162 points. Uh, going women's cross country, they came in second place out of 11 at the MAC championship on this past Saturday, October 31st. So good for them. Obviously we won first, but we'll take second. Men's water polo won against Connecticut College 21 to 11 on Saturday, October 31st, but then lost to Brown 19-9. And then on Sunday, November 1st, they lost 11-5 to MIT, and then 19-9 versus number 12 Harvard. So not the best weekend for men's water polo, but hey, we got some more games I can, hopefully win.
How long before the season officially
I
ends?
think I know they're this week. I think they're almost done.
Wow.
They're pretty much wrapping up soon. And moving over to men's swimming and diving, they lost 146 to 116 versus Bryant last Saturday on the 31st. But lone bright spot, men's cross country came in first place in the MAC championship, thus winning their 25th straight MAC championship. 25 years they've won now for the MACs. I think you could just say pretty clear that Iona dominates track or cross country. Last I checked, I think we're 8 or 7 in the nation right now. So we're a top program for cross country. So good for the guys. Congratulations on number 25 now. Just keep it going.
Go Gales.
Go Gales. Now we're gonna move on to upcoming sports because we do have a couple big upcoming venues happening. As some of you may know, men's soccer right now is in Florida for the MAC championship. They're the number 5 seed. They play tomorrow at 2 p.m. versus Fairfield in Lake Buena Vista in Florida on field number 18. So that's pretty cool that, hey, they're playing in Florida. I wouldn't mind that right now being in Florida. And then on Saturday, November 7th, right now the time has to be determined, but the men's water polo is playing in the CWPA Northern Divisional Championship. So good luck to them. Volleyball is playing against Manhattan at Manhattan on Saturday, November 7th at 1 p.m.
Our biggest rival.
Our biggest rival, I know. What's a Jasper? But if men's soccer wins against Fairfield on Friday, they play on Sunday at 11 versus the winner of Monmouth versus St. Peter's on field number 17. So let's hope they win tomorrow to then play at Sunday. And if they happen to win tomorrow and then win on Sunday, they will be playing in the championship game at 12 o'clock on Monday, November 9th. So let's go. I hope these guys can pull out that win, bring home the MAC championship for us. It'd be nice. I'll have to have one of those guys on then. And finally, women's volleyball will be playing against St. Peter's at St. Peter's on Wednesday, November 11th at 7 p.m. So I got nothing really home this weekend, actually, but basketball's coming around soon. That starts in about 2 weeks, so we'll have to have people at those games, and as well as the swimming and diving teams. Definitely got to come and support. But moving on, we're going to touch a little bit on baseball. Congratulations to the Kansas City Royals on winning the World Series. They won the World Series 4-1 with a 7-2 victory versus the Mets in 12 innings on Sunday, November 1st. So
Oh, that was such a depressing day.
I know got a lot of Mets fans out there that are really hurt by that, but hey.
Yeah, we should be thankful for that they got as far as they did, and
Oh yeah.
as much as we were all hoping for a repeat from 1986, it didn't turn out that way, but they still did well.
They did well, and listen, the future's bright for the Mets, I can say that. Even being a Giants fan, I am not the happiest because the Mets will be around for a while with that pitching staff. If they can keep them for the price they need them, they can get them for it, they'll be more than fine.
And I bet you next season the ticket prices will be increasing.
Oh yeah, that's all we want to hear is higher prices. But moving on from that, we're actually going to talk about the Billboard Top 10. Number 10 came in One Direction, Perfect. Number 9 was Watch Me by Soleto. Number 8 was Locked Away by Our City featuring Adam Levine. Number 7 was I Can't Feel My Face by
The Weeknd.
The Weeknd, my favorite. Number 6 was 679 by Fetty Wap featuring Remy Boys. Number 5 was Wildest Dreams by Taylor Swift. Number 4 was Stitches by Shawn Mendes. Number 3 was What Do You Mean by Justin Bieber. Number 2 was Hotline Bling by Drake. So I've seen so many funny videos on the internet about that song. Man, Drake, I think Drake, he did that purposely, made such a interesting music video because he knew that it was only going to blow up on the internet. And number 1 is The Hills by
The Weeknd.
The Weeknd, my favorite.
They've been they've been up there the past few weeks. So.
Billboard really hasn't changed too much over the last couple weeks. They do have a couple shake-ups with Stitches, Wildest Dreams, and Perfect, but everything else has been around for a while. And the number 1 song from a year ago was what, Matt?
Let's see. All About That Bass by Meghan Trainor.
Yes, All About the Bass by Meghan Trainor. I don't know. I think sooner or later it's gonna have to get knocked down. I hope. Be nice to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember. I say this like every week, but being in the car listening to the radio and that song would come on, and by the end of the year I was ready to rip my hair out.
At the end of the year, you're like, geez, I've heard this 175 million times. Can you put something else on? Or you change stations and you play on every station.
Don't get me wrong, it is a good song. It's just like anything else, it got played out.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, well, that's what they do on radio. They overplay stuff. Also, a little side note, Adele, we talked about this last week, you mentioned it, but Adele's album 25 comes out November 20th. Definitely going to have to listen to that because so far just Hello, the only song you can hear from it, is absolutely fantastic because Adele's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's got one of the most unique voices, I think, out there. And then it's been a while since she really came out with any music. I think about this weekend, Spectre comes out, the new James Bond film. The last song I remember by Adele was Skyfall, which is from the soundtrack for James Bond.
People say I do look a little bit like James Bond. I don't know how true that is, but
there's a little like Daniel Craig. Yeah, maybe Daniel Craig or Sean Connery. Who knows? But actually, talking about the Spectre, we're gonna talk about the box office. Last week, the box office. I mean, I wasn't totally wrong when it came to what the actual predictions. My predictions, I had all the right movies, just not in the right order. The Martian took over first place. Came in at 11.7 million, a nice 25.5% drop. Really good drop. I mean, that's a number. If you can drop 25% every week, you're going to be in theaters for a while. Goosebumps came in second at 9.8 million, a nice 36.4% drop. Also another very good drop. Bridge of Spies came in at 8.3 million, at a 26.2% drop. Hotel Transylvania 2 came in at fourth with a $5.8 million and a 34% drop. And the last one, Witch Hunter, I thought it was going to drop more than this, but it dropped a whopping 52.3% and came in at 5.1 million. Not a good number for a second weekend. Really not a good. Compared to my projections, I said The Martian, Bridge of Spies, Goosebumps, Hotel Transylvania, and Burnt. Burnt did terrible. The movie starring Bradley Cooper about him being a chef, that didn't do well at all. So
I don't know if I've heard of that.
That was like the biggest opening of this past weekend. That like if anything was gonna do well, it was gonna be that. But that just fell and crashed and burned. But this week's looking a little different. Gonna have definitely a new number 1 and probably new number 2 for box office. Opening this week, you have Spectre, the newest James Bond film. Looks awesome. It's opening at 3,600 theaters. The Peanuts, kids our age know the Peanuts. I don't know how much younger they know about the Peanuts, but the Peanuts movie is opening nationwide. Spotlight is opening limited. That movie looks very good. That's all about the newsroom that kind of started releasing articles like that really told the truth. So I'm probably looking to that. And then movie I definitely want to see, Trumbo. It's about starring.
Yes.
Oh, what is his name? I'm gonna blank on his name now. Bryan Cranston's in it.
Yeah.
Looks awesome. That's coming in limited. Both those movies are limited. I think they're gonna be in a few theaters each, and they'll grow. But Trumbo looks awesome. It's all about Mr. Trumbo, who was back in the 40s, was a film critic who happened to be a communist, and people really attacked him for it. But he was great guy when it came to
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I watched. They were interviewing him on GMA this morning, and yeah,
he looks spot on too.
Yeah, looks like a great movie.
I'm thinking it's something that you may see around when it comes to award time.
Yeah,
you could see possibly him pulling off a best actor or a best something. It looks really good. It's one of those, not going to make the most money in the theaters, but it's not meant to. It's meant to be a film that pulls out, something special. Then we're gonna go to my projection. My projections this week. I say Spectre is gonna be 1. I think Peanuts are gonna be 2. Martian, I think, is gonna pull 3rd. I think Bridge of Spies will be in 4th. And I think Hotel Transylvania will round out the top 5. So we'll have to wait and see. I just wonder how big will Spectre open. I look at Skyfall. Skyfall is fantastic, and the reviews were very loving. I mean, it got about 95%, 92, 95%
Wow.
on Rotten Tomatoes, where Spectre's a lot less favorable. That's only about, when I last checked, it was at 66%. So it's not terrible. You can kind of look at Quantum of Solace, the second Daniel Craig one. That got a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, and that still made $187 million in the United States. So it doesn't mean bad, but Skyfall was so high that Spectre's just gonna have to open huge. I feel like it's, I don't know. I'm thinking it's gonna open in the $90 million range because I think it looks really good. Christopher Waltz is the bad guy. I love Christopher Waltz. He's won 2 Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actor. He's done very well lately in his career. And also, it's starring David Bautista, who people know as Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, also a WWE superstar. He's playing Mr. Hicks, which is the bad guy in the film. So people, I think, are going to want to see it because people really liked his last performance. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's it for me, Matt. I think we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back with a special guest.
Sounds good. And we'll be right back after these messages.